Wednesday, July 8th, 2026. Today's World News Headline Summary. 1. CNN. 1-1. Trump heads to Turkey for critical NATO summit. U.S. President Donald Trump is heading to Ankara, Turkey for a pivotal NATO summit amid significant global security challenges. The summit's primary focus will be on the ongoing war in Ukraine, with Trump expected to meet Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on the sidelines to discuss air defense support and a potential resolution. Additionally, tensions and security protocols in the Strait of Hormuz will heavily influence the discussions. European allies are being pressed to increase their defense commitments significantly. Trump has continuously urged member nations to spend at least 5% of their GDP on defense by 2035, explicitly noting that the U.S. spends more money on NATO than any other country, an imbalance he branded as ridiculous. Vocabulary. Pivotal. Adjective. 중추적인, 중요한. The upcoming election will play a pivotal role in the country's future. Summit. Noun. 정상회의, 산 정상. World leaders gathered at the summit to discuss climate change. Ongoing. Adjective. 진행 중인. There is an ongoing investigation into the cause of the fire. Resolution. Noun. 해결, 결의안. The UN passed a resolution to provide humanitarian aid. Tension. Noun. 긴장 상태. Political tension between the two countries has reached a new high. Press. Verb. 압박하다, 강요하다. The committee pressed the CEO for a clear explanation. Commitment. Noun. 약속, 헌신, 기여. We need a strong financial commitment to finish this project. Urge. Verb. 강력히 권고하다, 촉구하다. The doctor urged him to stop smoking immediately. Imbalance. Noun. 불균형. An imbalance in trade can harm the domestic economy. Ridiculous. Adjective. 터무니없는, 말도 안 되는. It is ridiculous to expect us to finish this in one day. 시사 용어 해설. 나토, 북대서양 조약기구. 제2차 세계대전 이후 미국과 서유럽 국가들이 소련의 위협에 맞서기 위해 결성한 서방의 군사동맹체입니다. 한 회원국에 대한 무력 공격은 전체 회원국에 대한 공격으로 간주한다는 집단 방위, collective defense 원칙을 핵심으로 합니다. Defense spending as a percent of GDP. GDP 대비 국방비 지출. 한 국가가 1년 동안 생산한 모든 재화와 서비스의 총합, GDP 중 얼마를 국방비로 쓰는지를 나타내는 지표입니다. 트럼프 대통령은 유럽 국가들이 안보를 미국에 무임승차하고 있다며 이 비율을 대폭 5% 올려야 한다고 강력히 주장하고 있습니다.
1-2. Gage Goulding joins CNN as Seoul-based international correspondent. Gage Goulding has officially joined CNN as an international correspondent and will be based in Seoul, South Korea. In his new role, Goulding will take responsibility for reporting on key stories and breaking news unfolding across South Korea and the broader Asia-Pacific region. Coming from KPRC2 in Houston, Texas, the award-winning journalist brings a wealth of experience in live, frontline reporting. CNN International executives praised his passion for fast-paced, high-impact storytelling, noting that his expertise will be a significant asset. His addition highlights CNN's ongoing commitment to strengthening its coverage of this highly dynamic and globally influential region. Vocabulary. Correspondent. Noun. tukpa원, 통신원. She worked as a war correspondent in the Middle East. Responsibility. Noun. 책임, 의무. It is my responsibility to ensure the project succeeds. Unfold. Verb. 상황이 전개되다, 펼쳐지다. We watched the drama unfold on live television. Breaking news. Noun. 속보. The network interrupted the broadcast for breaking news. A wealth of. idiom. 풍부한. The new manager brings a wealth of experience to the team.
Frontline. Noun/adjective. 최전선에. Frontline workers face the highest risks during emergencies. Asset. Noun. 자산. 귀중한 사람, 것. Her fluent Spanish is a great asset to the company. Dynamic. Adjective. 역동적인. The city has a highly dynamic and fast-growing economy. 시사 용어 해설. Correspondent. 특파원. 신문사나 방송국 등 언론 매체에서 특정 지역이나 외국에 파견되어 현지의 뉴스를 직접 취재하고 본사로 송고하는 전문 기자를 뜻합니다. Seoul-based 라는 표현은 거점을 서울에 두고 아시아 전체 뉴스를 커버한다는 의미입니다. 1-3. Extreme temperatures once again prove deadly in Europe and US. Extreme, climate-fueled heat waves are once again proving deadly across both the United States and Europe, pushing public health systems to their breaking points. In the U.S., states like New Jersey have reported dozens of fatalities spanning various age groups due to the scorching temperatures. Meanwhile, hospitals in France are struggling immensely to keep up with a massive influx of patients suffering from heat-related conditions such as heart attacks, severe dehydration, and kidney failure. Officials describe the weather as crazy heat, noting the unprecedented strain it places on local infrastructure. Experts argue that nations must urgently adapt their urban planning and healthcare capacities to survive these ever-scorching summers. Vocabulary. Deadly. Adjective. 치명적인, 생명을 앗아가는. The virus proved to be extremely deadly. Breaking point. Noun. 한계점. His patients finally reached its breaking point. Fatality. Noun. 사망자, 치사율. The car accident resulted in 0 fatalities, thankfully. Scorching. Adjective. 몹시 뜨거운, 타는 듯한. We walked for miles under the scorching sun. Influx. Noun. 유입, 쇄도. The city saw a massive influx of tourists this summer. Dehydration. Noun. 탈수, 증상. Drink plenty of water to avoid dehydration during exercise. Unprecedented. Adjective. 전례 없는. The pandemic caused unprecedented economic disruption. Strain. Noun. 부담, 압박. The sudden increase in demand put a strain on resources. 시사용어 해설. Infrastructure. 인프라, 사회 기반 시설. 사람들이 살아가는데 필수적인 도로나 상하수도, 전기망, 그리고 병원 같은 공공시설을 모두 합쳐 부르는 말입니다. 폭염 시에는 에어컨 가동으로 인한 전력망 과부하나 응급 의료시설의 병상 부족 문제 등이 인프라의 위기로 직결됩니다. 2. BBC 2-1. Paris court upholds Le Pen's embezzlement conviction. A French court of appeal has officially upheld the embezzlement conviction of far-right leader Marine Le Pen for misusing European parliamentary funds. Despite confirming the guilty verdict and issuing a suspended prison sentence, judges significantly reduced her ban on holding public office from 5 years to 15 months. This unexpected legal pivot effectively clears the path for her to run in the highly anticipated 2027 French presidential election. However, the court mandated that she must wear an electronic ankle tag for an entire year, covering crucial campaign periods. Political analysts note that a potential Le Pen victory in 2027 would cause massive ripple effects across European politics. Vocabulary. Uphold. Verb. 판결등을 유지하다, 확정하다. The Supreme Court decided to uphold the previous ruling. Embezzlement. Noun. 횡령, 착복. The executive was arrested for embezzlement of company funds. Misuse. Verb. 오용하다, 악용하다. He was accused of misusing his authority. Verdict. Noun. 평결, 판결. The jury delivered a guilty verdict after hours of deliberation. Suspend. Verb. 유예하다, 중단하다. He received a suspended prison sentence for his crime. Mandate. Verb. 명령하다, 의무화하다. The new law mandates that all passengers wear seatbelts.
Ankle tag. Noun. 전자발찌. 추적장치. The suspect was placed under house arrest with an ankle tag. Ripple effect. Noun. 파급 효과. The bank's collapse had a massive ripple effect on the economy. 시사용어 해설. Embezzlement. 횡령. 자신이 합법적으로 관리하거나 보관하고 있는 타인 또는 국가 기관의 자금을 사적인 용도로 몰래 빼돌려 사용하는 범죄입니다. Suspended sentence. 집행유예. 유죄가 인정되어 징역형 등을 선고하되 범죄자가 일정 기간 동안 다시 죄를 짓지 않고 조건을 잘 지키면 그 형의 집행을 면제해주는 제도입니다. 2.2. Zelensky urges allies for air defense systems at NATO summit. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky utilized his crucial speech at the NATO summit in Turkey to passionately urge Western allies to deliver military aid immediately. Specifically, he demanded that global leaders cough up cash and supply the advanced air defense systems that Kyiv desperately needs. This impassioned plea comes on the heels of renewed and deadly Russian missile bombardments targeting Ukrainian cities and civilian infrastructure. The alliance members are utilizing the summit to deliberate on defense investment funds and strategies to offer an economic lift for Ukraine. Zelensky stressed that without robust air defense, Ukraine remains highly vulnerable to persistent aerial threats. Vocabulary. Urge. Verb. 강력히 촉구하다. The mayor urged citizens to evacuate before the hurricane. Cough up. Phrasal verb. 돈이나 정보를 마지못해 내놓다, 토해내다. He finally coughed up the money he owed me. Desperately. Adverb. 절실하게, 필사적으로. The refugees are desperately in need of food and water. Impassioned. Adjective. 열정적인, 간절한. She made an impassioned plea for animal rights. Bombardment. Noun. 폭격, 포격. The city suffered heavy bombardment during the war. Deliberate. Verb. 숙고하다, 신중히 논의하다. The jury deliberated for 3 days before reaching a verdict. Robust. Adjective. 튼튼한, 강력한. We need a robust security system to protect the data. Vulnerable. Adjective. 취약한, 상처 입기 쉬운. The elderly are particularly vulnerable to the extreme heat. 일하사 용어 해설. Air defense system, 방공망 시스템. 적의 전투기나 미사일, 드론이 자국의 영공으로 날아올 때 이를 레이더로 탐지하고 요격 미사일로 파괴하여 방어하는 군사 무기 체계. 예를 들어 페이트리어트 미사일입니다. 2-3. Explosions heard in Damascus near French president's hotel. A series of mysterious explosions have been reported in the central district of Damascus, Syria, raising immediate security alarms. According to initial reports, the blasts occurred dangerously close to the hotel where French President Emmanuel Macron had been staying during his diplomatic visit. The unexpected incident has sent shockwaves through the international community, given the presence of a high-profile head of state. Local security forces swiftly locked down the perimeter to assess the damage and ascertain the exact cause of the detonations. While details remain scarce, the event underscores the volatile security environment that persists in the Syrian capital. Vocabulary. Mysterious. Adjective. 원인이 알 수 없는, 기이한. A mysterious loud noise woke up the entire neighborhood. Blast. Noun. 폭발. The blast shattered windows within a 2-mile radius. High profile. Adjective. 세간의 이목을 끄는, 인지도가 높은. The lawyer took on several high-profile criminal cases. Swiftly. Adverb. 신속하게. The emergency team responded swiftly to the accident. Lockdown. Phrasal verb. 봉쇄하다, 통제하다. Police locked down the building to search for the suspect. Ascertain. Verb. 알아내다, 확인하다. We need to ascertain the facts before making a decision. Detonation. Noun. 폭발, 기폭. The controlled detonation of the old bomb was successful. Volatile. Adjective. 변동성이 큰, 불안정한. The stock market has been highly volatile this week. 시사용어 해설. Head of State, 국가 원수. 한 나라를 대표하는 최고 지도자를 뜻합니다. 예를 들어 대통령, 국왕 등. 외교 순방 중인 국가 원수의 숙소 근처에서 폭발이 일어나는 것은 중대한 국제적 테러 위협으로 간주됩니다.
3. ABC Australia. 3-1. Australia and Fiji sign historic Vuvale Union and Ocean of Peace Alliance. Australia and Fiji have successfully sealed a new historic defense alliance aimed at fortifying regional security in the Pacific. Signed in Suva by Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and Fijian counterpart Sitiveni Rabuka, the Ocean of Peace Alliance and the upgraded Vuvale Union Agreement mark a major diplomatic triumph. Analysts view this strategic pact as a direct countermeasure against China's rapidly expanding influence in the Pacific region. By signing this agreement, Fiji officially becomes Australia's fourth regional ally, joining the ranks of the US, New Zealand, and Papua New Guinea. The treaty includes provisions for mutual consultation if either nation's sovereignty is threatened. Vocabulary. Seal. Verb. 계약 등을 확정짓다, 체결하다. The two companies finally sealed the merger deal. Fortify. Verb. 강화하다. The soldiers worked overnight to fortify their defense lines. Counterpart. Noun. 상대방, 대응 관계에 있는 사람. The minister held talks with his Japanese counterpart. Triumph. Noun. 큰 승리, 업적. The successful space launch was a triumph for science. Pact. Noun. 조약, 협정. The country signed a non-aggression pact to ensure peace. Countermeasure. Noun. 대응책, 대항수단. The government announced new countermeasures against cyber attacks. Provision. Noun. 조항, 규정. There is a provision in the contract that allows early termination. Sovereignty. Noun. 주권, 자주권. The nation fought hard to defend its territorial sovereignty. 시사용어 해설. Sovereignty, 주권. 한 국가가 외국의 간섭 없이 자기 나라의 영토를 다스리고 스스로 법과 제도를 결정할 수 있는 절대적인 권리를 말합니다. Alliance, 동맹. 둘 이상의 국가가 서로의 이익과 안보를 지키기 위해 군사적, 경제적으로 돕기로 맺은 공식적인 약속입니다. 3-2. China's long-range missile test deeply destabilizing, says acting PM. Australia's acting Prime Minister and Defense Minister Richard Marles has strongly condemned China's recent long-range missile test, describing it as a deeply destabilizing act. The missile, which China acknowledges as nuclear-capable, was launched from a submarine, clearly demonstrating China's expanding military reach across the Pacific. Marles emphasized that such aggressive military displays run entirely counter to regional efforts aimed at building peace and security. He explicitly noted that Australia had expressed deep concerns directly to Beijing regarding the test. Furthermore, he reassured the public that Australian intelligence is continually monitoring the surrounding maritime environment with unparalleled expertise. Vocabulary. Condemn. Verb. 규탄하다, 비난하다. The international community condemned the terrorist attack. Destabilizing. Adjective. 불안정하게 만드는. The rebel forces are a destabilizing factor in the region. Demonstrate. Verb. 보여주다, 입증하다. The study demonstrates the benefits of regular exercise. Aggressive. Adjective. 공격적인, 적극적인. The company launched an aggressive marketing campaign. Run counter to. Idiom. 역행하다, 거스르다. His actions run counter to the principles he preaches. Explicitly. Adverb. 명시적으로, 분명하게. She explicitly told them not to touch the equipment. Reassure. Verb. 안심시키다. The doctor reassured the patient that the surgery was safe. Unparalleled. Adjective. 비견할 데 없는, 전례 없는. The athlete has achieved a level of success that is unparalleled. 시사 용어 해설. Nuclear capable. 핵 탑재가 가능한. 재래식 폭탄뿐만 아니라 핵탄두를 장착해서 쏠 수 있도록 설계된 무기나 미사일을 의미합니다. 이는 단순한 무기 실험을 넘어 영내 안보에 엄청난 위협으로 간주됩니다.
Number 3. Nampi-Jimpa Price demands PM apologize for misogynistic podcast comments. Liberal Senator Jacinta Nampi-Jimpa Price has fiercely criticized Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese for making what she called extremely misogynistic remarks during a recent podcast interview. The controversy erupted after Albanese participated in a crude theoretical game regarding pop superstar Kylie Minogue and foreign dignitaries. Although the Prime Minister, currently on a diplomatic mission in the Pacific, issued an unequivocal written apology through his office, opponents argue it is insufficient. Price demanded that Albanese stand directly before the Australian public and women nationwide to offer a formal, unreserved personal apology. The incident has sparked a heated debate regarding appropriate conduct for national leaders. Vocabulary. Fiercely. Adverb. 맹렬하게. 거세게. The lions fought fiercely over the prey. Misogynistic. Adjective. 여성 혐오적인. The author was criticized for his misogynistic portrayal of female characters. Controversy. Noun. 논란. 논쟁. The new tax law caused a lot of controversy. Crude. Adjective. 상스러운. 대충 만든. He offended people with his crude jokes. Dignitary. Noun. 고위 인사. 고관. Several foreign dignitaries attended the presidential inauguration. Unequivocal. Adjective. 명백한. 모호하지 않은. She gave an unequivocal yes to the proposal. Insufficient. Adjective. 불충분한. The evidence presented in court was insufficient for a conviction. Unreserved. Adjective. 기탄 없는. 조건 없는. I offer my unreserved apologies for the mistake. 시사 용어 해설. Liberal Senator. 자유당 상원의원. 호주 정치에서 Liberal Party, 자유당은 이름과 달리 주로 보수 우파 성향을 띠는 주요 정당입니다. 현 정부인 노동당, Labour Party, 좌파 성향과 대립하며 야당 역할을 하고 있습니다. 4. The Korea Times. 4.1. Hanwha Ocean defeated by Germany's TKMS in Canada submarine deal. South Korean shipbuilder Hanwha Ocean has lost its bid to supply the Royal Canadian Navy with a multi-billion-dollar fleet of submarines, as Canada formally selected Germany's ThyssenKrupp Marine Systems, TKMS, as the preferred bidder. Despite Hanwha's proven technology and rapid delivery capabilities, Canada's decision heavily prioritized NATO interoperability and collective defense with European nations. TKMS's proposed Type 212CD submarines are highly optimized for Arctic operations and allow seamless intelligence sharing among NATO allies. This outcome is seen as a temporary setback for South Korea's aggressive defense industry expansion. However, Hanwha officially remains a reserve bidder if contract negotiations with the German consortium eventually fail. Vocabulary. Shipbuilder. Noun. 조선업체 선박 건조자. The shipbuilder received an order for 5 new vessels. Fleet. Noun. 함대, 선단. The Navy deployed a fleet of submarines to the ocean. Preferred. Adjective. 선호되는, 우선해. TKMS was named the preferred bidder for the project. Prioritize. Verb. 우선순위를 매기다. We must prioritize safety over speed in this project. Interoperability. Noun. 상호 운용성, 호환성. NATO focuses on the interoperability of allied forces. Optimize. Verb. 최적화하다. The software is optimized to run smoothly on older phones. Seamless. Adjective. 매끄러운, 끊김없는. The transition between the two scenes was completely seamless. Setback. Noun. 차질, 실패. The team suffered a major setback due to injuries. 시사 용어 해설. Preferred bidder. 우선 협상 대상자. 대규모 정부 사업이나 입찰에서 가장 유리한 조건을 제시해 계약을 맺기 위한 독점적 협상 권한을 가장 먼저 부여받은 업체를 말합니다. Interoperability. 상호 운용성. 서로 다른 국가의 무기나 통신 시스템이 충돌 없이 원활하게 연결되어 함께 작전을 수행할 수 있는 능력입니다. 4.2. Samsung Electronics projects record Q2 earnings on AI chip boom. Samsung Electronics has projected record-breaking earnings for the second quarter, largely propelled by a massive global boom in artificial intelligence, AI chips. The tech giant estimates its operating profit to reach a staggering $58.4 billion, a figure that surprisingly tops even NVIDIA's recent historic records. This phenomenal financial performance underscores Samsung's robust supply chain and dominance in high-bandwidth memory, crucial for AI processing. Despite these spectacular earnings projections, the broader Korean stock market, KOSPI, tumbled. Analysts suggest that external economic uncertainties and aggressive short selling offset the positive momentum generated by Samsung's success. Vocabulary. Project. Verb. 예상하다, 추산하다. The government projects a 3% economic growth next year. Propel. Verb. 나아가게 하다, 추진하다. The new policy will propel the company to global success. Staggering. Adjective. 충격적인, 엄청난. The hurricane caused a staggering amount of damage. Dominance. Noun. 지배, 우세. The brand maintains its dominance in the smartphone market. Spectacular. Adjective. 장관을 이루는, 극적인. The fireworks display over the bridge was spectacular. Tumble. Verb. 폭락하다, 굴러떨어지다. Stock prices tumbled after the disappointing jobs report. Offset. Verb. 상쇄하다. The gains in the stock market were offset by rising inflation. Momentum. Noun. 탄력, 추진력. The campaign is starting to gain real momentum. 시사용어 해설. Operating profit. 영업이익. 기업이 본래의 사업, 물건을 만들고 파는. 이를 통해 벌어들인 순수한 이익을 뜻합니다. 매출액에서 원가와 인건비, 마케팅비 등을 뺀 금액입니다. 하이밴드위드 메모리, 고대역폭 메모리, HBM. AI가 데이터를 학습하고 처리할 때 엄청난 양의 데이터를 한 번에 빠르게 주고받을 수 있도록 만든 차세대 D램 메모리 반도체입니다. 4.3. Korea's push to raise retirement age brings fears over youth job market. The South Korean government's recent push to raise the legal retirement age in response to a rapidly aging population is sparking significant societal debate. While the demographic shift makes keeping older workers in the labor force a necessity, there are mounting fears regarding its adverse impact on the already fragile youth job market. Critics argue that if corporations are forced to retain senior employees longer, they will inevitably slash entry-level recruitment quotas to manage payroll costs. This dynamic risks deepening generational conflicts within the workforce. Labor experts strongly advise that any retirement age extension must be coupled with structural wage reforms to protect opportunities for the younger generation. Vocabulary. Retirement age. Noun. 정년. 은퇴 연령. Many European countries are increasing their retirement age. Demographic. Adjective. 인구 통계학에. The demographic shift is putting pressure on the pension system. Adverse. Adjective. 부정적인, 불리한. The drug has some serious adverse side effects. Fragile. Adjective. 취약한, 부서지기 쉬운. The economic recovery is still very fragile. Retain. Verb. 유지하다, 보유하다. The company introduced new perks to retain talented employees. Inevitably. Adverb. 불가피하게, 필연적으로. The changes will inevitably lead to some job losses. Slash. Verb. 대폭 줄이다, 삭감하다. The store slashed prices by 50% for the clearance sale. Coupled with. Idiom. 뭐뭐와 결합되어, 병행되어. High inflation, coupled with low growth, is a major problem. 시사용어 해설. Entry-level recruitment, 신입 채용. 직장 경험이 없거나 적은 청년층을 대상으로 기업이 새로 사람을 뽑는 것을 말합니다. Wage reforms, 임금 체계 개편. 정년을 늘려주는 대신 일정 나이가 지나면 월급을 서서히 깎는 임금 피크제나 일한 연수가 아니라 직무의 난이도에 따라 월급을 주는 직무급제 등으로 급여 주는 방식을 고치는 것을 뜻합니다. 5. The Korea Herald, 5-1, Seoul opens door to NATO-wide joint defense procurement market. South Korean President Lee Jae-myung has opened a highly lucrative pathway into NATO's joint defense procurement market during the alliance's summit in Ankara, Turkey. Seoul and NATO formally agreed to commence negotiations on a framework agreement that will allow Korean defense firms to bid on contracts across all member states, accessing a market estimated at 15 trillion won annually. During a keynote speech, Lee proposed a Korea-NATO Defense Industry Partnership 2.0, branding South Korea as a highly trusted partner rather than a mere weapons supplier. He firmly stressed that advanced technologies like AI, drones, and robotics have become decisive factors in modern warfare, calling for expanded joint research. Vocabulary: lucrative, adjective, 수익성이 좋은, 돈이 되는. He gave up a lucrative career in banking to teach art. Pathway, noun, 좁은 길, 진로. Education provides a pathway out of poverty. Procurement, noun, 조달, 구매. The government announced new rules for military procurement. Commence, verb, 시작하다, 개시하다. The construction of the new bridge will commence next week. Framework, noun, 뼈대, 체제, 틀. The two nations agreed on a new framework for trade. Keynote, noun, 기조연설, 핵심. The CEO delivered the keynote speech at the conference. Brand, verb, 낙인 찍다, 뭐뭐로 규정하다. The media branded him as a visionary leader. Decisive, adjective, 결정적인, 단호한. She played a decisive role in winning the championship. 시사용어 해설. Joint Defense Procurement, 국방 공동조달. 여러 나라가 따로따로 무기를 사는 것이 아니라 나토라는 이름으로 뭉쳐서 대량으로 한꺼번에 무기를 구매하는 방식을 말합니다. Framework Agreement, 체제 협정, 기본 협정. 앞으로 어떤 방식으로 세부 계약을 진행할지 미리 큰 틀과 규칙을 정해두는 국가 간 합의를 의미합니다. 5.2. Lee departs for Turkey to attend NATO summit. President Lee Jae-myung departed from Seoul Air Base on Tuesday to attend the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO summit in Ankara, Turkey. The summit brings together leaders from 32 member nations amidst growing global security instability caused by the Russia-Ukraine war and Middle East conflicts. Upon arrival, Lee is scheduled to meet with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte and representatives from the Indo-Pacific Four, IP4, which includes Japan, Australia, and New Zealand. Lee aims to utilize a series of bilateral meetings to significantly expand South Korea's footprint in the world's largest defense market. Following the summit, he will travel to Mongolia for a high-profile state visit. Vocabulary: depart, verb, 떠나다, 출발하다. The train will depart from platform 3 in 5 minutes. Instability, noun, 불안정성. Political instability is discouraging foreign investment. Representative, noun, 대표자, 대리인. The union sent a representative to negotiate with the management. Bilateral, adjective, 양자 간에, 쌍방에. The two countries signed a bilateral trade agreement. Footprint, noun, 발자국, 영향력의 입지. The tech company is expanding its global footprint. High profile, adjective, 세간의 이목을 끄는. The lawyer took on several high-profile criminal cases. State visit, noun, 국빈 방문. The Queen is currently on a state visit to Germany. Amidst, 전치사. 뭐 하는 와중에, 한가운데. He managed to stay calm amidst all the chaos. 시사용어 해설. IP4, 인도-파시픽4. 나토 회원국은 아니지만 나토와 가치를 공유하며 아시아 태평양 지역에서 긴밀히 협력하는 4개 파트너 국가. 한국, 일본, 호주, 뉴질랜드를 묶어서 부르는 말입니다. Bilateral meeting, 양자회담. 여러 나라가 한꺼번에 모이는 다자회의 속에서 특정한 두 나라의 정상이나 대표가 따로 만나 깊이 있게 논의하는 자리를 뜻합니다. 5-3. At NATO, Lee and Carney look beyond Seoul's failed submarine bid. Shortly after Canada announced its selection of Germany over South Korea for its multi-billion-dollar submarine project, President Lee Jae-myung and Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney met on the sidelines of the NATO summit. Instead of dwelling on the failed bid, the two leaders engaged in concrete discussions to expand future cooperation in fields like artificial intelligence and broad defense partnerships. The South Korean presidential office revealed that Carney had personally called Lee over the weekend, prior to the official announcement, to explain the bidding results in advance. This gesture of special consideration helped smooth diplomatic waters. Both nations reaffirmed their commitment to expanding practical cooperation beyond naval procurement. Vocabulary. Dwell on. Phrasal verb. 예연연하다. 깊이 생각하다. It's not healthy to dwell on your past mistakes. Concrete. Adjective. 구체적인, 실체가 있는. The police need concrete evidence to make an arrest. Broad. Adjective. 폭넓은, 광범위한. He has a broad understanding of world affairs. Prior to. 전치사. 예 앞서. 전에. Please review the document prior to the meeting. In advance. Idiom. 사전에. 미리. You should book the tickets in advance. Gesture. Noun. 몸짓. 마음의 표시. Sending flowers was a nice gesture of sympathy. Reaffirm. Verb. 재확인하다. The president reaffirmed his commitment to lower taxes. Practical. Adjective. 실질적인, 실용적인. She gave me some practical advice on saving money. 시사용어 해설. On the sidelines. 회의장 밖에서, 계기로. 대규모 국제회의 공식 일정 외에 휴식 시간이나 빈 일정을 쪼개어 정상들끼리 따로 만나 회담을 가지는 것을 의미합니다. Naval procurement. 해군 조달. 해군이 작전을 수행하는 데 필요한 함정, 잠수함, 무기 등을 사들이는 행위입니다.
6. CGTN 6.1. NATO summit opens as new defense deals fuel militarization concerns. The NATO Leaders Summit commenced in Ankara with major announcements aimed at accelerating weapons production, sparking significant concerns over the alliance's expanding militarization. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte unveiled the $40 billion Drone Edge Initiative and a $2.8 billion industrial cooperation plan to tightly integrate military supply chains across member states. While leaders continuously press for member states to raise defense spending to 5% of their GDP, this aggressive push has triggered fierce public backlash in the host country. Large-scale anti-NATO protests erupted in major Turkish cities like Istanbul and Izmir, with demonstrators explicitly denouncing the pressure to prioritize military budgets over essential public welfare. Vocabulary. Accelerate. Verb. 가속화하다, 촉진하다. The new policy will accelerate economic growth. Spark. Verb. 촉발시키다, 불꽃을 튀기다. His controversial remarks sparked a heated debate. Militarization. Noun. 군사화. The demilitarized zone prevents the militarization of the border. Unveil. Verb. 법계를 벗기다, 발표하다. The tech company will unveil its new smartphone tomorrow. Integrate. Verb. 부합하다. We need to integrate the new software with our existing system. Backlash. Noun. 반발, 역풍. The government faced a severe backlash over the tax hike. Erupt. Verb. 분출하다, 폭동등이 발발하다. Violence erupted in the streets following the verdict. Explicitly. Adverb. 영시적으로, 분명하게. She explicitly told them not to touch the equipment. 시사용어 해설. Militarization. 군사화. 국가 예산과 정책의 중심이 민생이나 외교보다는 군사력 강화와 무기 도입에 쏠리게 되는 현상을 비판적으로 이르는 말입니다. Public welfare, 공공복지, 교육, 의료, 주택 등 국민의 삶의 질을 높이고 기본적인 생활을 보장하기 위해 국가가 제공하는 예산입니다. 시위대는 나토의 요구대로 국방비를 너무 올리면 이 복지 예산이 깎일 것을 우려하고 있습니다. 6.2. Political tensions behind the 2026 World Cup. While the 2026 FIFA World Cup, co-hosted by the United States, Canada, and Mexico, was initially built upon a powerful message of regional unity, underlying political tensions are complicating the event. In the years since the three nations won the highly coveted bid, diplomatic friction and trade disagreements have grown significantly.
Correspondents report that what was fundamentally meant to be a pure celebration of the beautiful game is now heavily overshadowed by complex geopolitics. The expanded tournament format, featuring a record 104 matches, requires massive logistical coordination, forcing the governments to collaborate despite their simmering political differences. Vocabulary. Co-host. Verb. 공동 개최하다. Japan and South Korea co-hosted the 2002 World Cup. Unity. Noun. 통합. 통일성. The president's speech called for national unity. Coveted. Adjective. 탐내는. 갈망하는. She won the highly coveted award for Best Actress. Friction. Noun. 마찰. 갈등. There is some friction between the two departments. Fundamentally. Adverb. 근본적으로. The new design is fundamentally different from the old one. Overshadow. Verb. 그늘을 들이우다. 빛을 잃게 하다. His achievements were overshadowed by his brother's fame. Logistical. Adjective. 물류에. 병참에. Distributing the vaccine presents a massive logistical challenge. Simmering. Adjective. 속으로 끓어오르는. Years of simmering anger finally exploded into violence. 시사용어 해설. Geopolitics. 지정학. 지리적 위치가 국가 간의 권력, 외교, 무역 등에 미치는 영향을 연구하는 학문입니다. 국경을 맞대고 있는 미국, 멕시코, 캐나다 세 나라가 이민자 문제나 무역 협정, USMCA 등으로 겪는 갈등을 지정학적 요인이라고 부릅니다. Number 6. 3. NATO's Rutta. NATO will launch strategic airlift fleet of A400M aircraft. In a breaking development at the summit, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte announced that the alliance will formally launch a strategic airlift fleet utilizing advanced A400M aircraft. This joint military initiative is designed to dramatically enhance NATO's rapid response capabilities, allowing member states to transport troops, heavy equipment, and critical supplies swiftly during global crises. By pooling resources to maintain a shared aerial transport fleet, smaller allied nations gain access to vital logistical power they could not afford independently. The deployment of the A400M fleet is a clear demonstration of NATO shifting towards highly coordinated, multinational defense asset management. Vocabulary. Airlift. Noun, verb. 공수하다, 공수하다. The military organized a massive airlift of food and supplies. Initiative. Noun. 계획, 주도권. The government launched a new initiative to reduce crime. Enhance. Verb. 향상시키다, 향상시키다. Adding fresh herbs will enhance the flavor of the soup. Swiftly. Adverb. 신속하게, 신속하게. The emergency team responded swiftly to the accident. Pool. Verb. 자금, 자원을 공동 출자하다, 모으다. The companies decided to pool their resources for research. Affordable. Adjective. 가격이 감당할 수 있는, 알맞은. We are looking for affordable housing in the city. Independently. Adverb. 독립적으로, 독립적으로. The two teams worked independently on the same problem. Deployment. Noun. 배치, 전개. The deployment of new troops will begin next week. 시사용어 해설. Strategic airlift. 전략 공수. 비행기를 이용해 대규모의 병력이나 거대한 무기, 전차 등을 전쟁 지역이나 재난 현장까지 장거리로 빠르게 실어 나르는 군사작전을 뜻합니다. A400M은 이를 위해 특별히 제작된 대형 군용 수송기입니다. 7. NHK World Japan. 7.1. Unusual bear sightings in Japan's urban areas. Urban areas across Japan are currently experiencing an unusual and alarming surge in wild bear sightings, prompting heightened safety alerts from local authorities. With bears increasingly wandering down from mountains into residential zones to forage for food, some sudden encounters have unfortunately resulted in serious human casualties. In direct response to this growing public threat, a newly developed bear encounter prevention app is gaining immense popularity among both residents and foreign tourists. The application provides an intuitive, real-time map of confirmed bear sightings and allows users to report new incidents instantly. Experts strongly advise travelers to stay vigilant and carefully follow all regional wildlife warnings. Vocabulary. Unusual. Adjective. 특이한, 드문. It is unusual for him to be late for work. Surge.
Noun, verb. 급증하다, 밀려들다. There has been a sudden surge in demand for electric cars. Sighting. Noun. 목격. There was a confirmed sighting of a rare bird in the park. Heighten. Verb. 고조시키다, 강화하다. The recent burglaries have heightened security concerns. Forage. Verb. 먹이를 찾다. The pigs were left to forage for roots in the forest. Casualty. Noun. 사상자, 피해자. The earthquake caused heavy casualties in the coastal town. Immense. Adjective. 엄청난, 어마어마한. The project requires an immense amount of time and money. Intuitive. Adjective. 직관적인. The new software interface is highly intuitive and easy to use. 시사용어 해설. Real-time map. 실시간 지도. 사건, 예, 곰출몰이 발생하는 즉시 스마트폰 지도의 화면 위에 해당 위치를 빨간 정등으로 표시해주는 기술입니다. 사용자가 제보함과 동시에 다른 사람들도 지도에서 바로 위험을 확인할 수 있어 유용합니다.
7.2. Impeachment trial of Philippine VP Duterte starts. The highly anticipated impeachment trial of Philippine Vice President Sara Duterte has officially begun, sending significant political shockwaves throughout the nation. Duterte, the daughter of former President Rodrigo Duterte, is facing serious allegations ranging from the misuse of confidential public funds to the blatant abuse of her office's power. She has vehemently denied all charges, framing the trial as a politically motivated witch hunt orchestrated by her rivals. Analysts view this dramatic trial as the ultimate collapse of the powerful political alliance between the Marcos and Duterte families. The proceedings will be closely monitored globally, as they could severely alter the Philippines' political landscape. Vocabulary. Impeachment. Noun. 탄핵. The president survived the impeachment vote in the Senate. Shockwave. Noun. 충격파. The scandal sent shockwaves through the financial sector. Allegation. Noun. 혐의, 주장, 증거 없는. The CEO denied all allegations of corruption. Blatant. Adjective. 노골적인, 뻔뻔스러운. It was a blatant lie, and everyone knew it. Vehemently. Adverb. 격렬하게, 강력히. He vehemently denied having any part in the robbery. Orchestrate. Verb. 조직하다, 은밀히 기획하다. The attack was carefully orchestrated by a rebel group. Collapse. Noun/verb. 붕괴하다, 무너지다. The roof collapsed under the weight of the heavy snow. Landscape. Noun. 풍경, 지형, 정세. The internet completely changed the business landscape. 시사용어 해설. 임피치먼트, 탄핵. 대통령, 부통령 등 고위 공직자가 직무를 수행하면서 헌법이나 법률을 심각하게 위반했을 때 의회의 투표를 거쳐 그 자리에서 강제로 쫓아내는 정치적 재판 절차입니다. 컨피덴셜 퍼블릭 펀즈, 기밀 공금. 국가 안보나 정보 활동 등을 위해 영수증 증빙 없이 쓸 수 있도록 배정된 정부 예산, 특수활동비입니다. 두테르테 부통령은 이 돈을 불투명하게 썼다는 의혹을 받고 있습니다.
7.3. Cause remains unclear 1 year after deadly Air India crash. 1 year after the tragic Air India passenger plane crash that claimed numerous lives, the exact cause of the disaster remains frustratingly unclear. Despite extensive efforts by a multinational investigation team to decode the flight's black boxes and analyze potential mechanical failures, a definitive conclusion has yet to be reached. Experts point out that the complexity of the debris field and conflicting sensor data are severely delaying the final report. Meanwhile, grieving families of the victims have publicly expressed deep anger over the sluggish pace of the investigation. They are demanding total transparency and accountability from both the airline and international aviation authorities. Vocabulary. Tragic. Adjective. 비극적인. The book tells the tragic story of a young orphan. Frustratingly. Adverb. 답답하게. 실망스럽게도. The internet connection is frustratingly slow today. Definitive.
Adjective. 결정적인, 확정적인. We need a definitive answer by tomorrow morning. Debris. Noun. 잔해, 쓰레기. Rescuers searched through the debris of the collapsed building.
Conflicting. Adjective. 상충되는, 모순되는. The jury heard conflicting testimonies from the two witnesses. Grieving. Adjective. 비통해하는, 슬퍼하는. The community offered support to the grieving parents. Sluggish. Adjective. 느릿느릿한, 부진한. The economy remains sluggish despite the tax cuts. Accountability. Noun. 책임, 의무. There is a lack of accountability in the current management. 시사용어 해설. Black box, 블랙 박스. 비행기의 조종석 대화 내용, CVR과 고도, 속도 등 비행 데이터 FDR을 기록해두는 강철 상자입니다. 사고가 나면 이 데이터를 분석해 비행기가 왜 추락했는지를 가장 정확히 알아낼 수 있습니다. Transparency, 투명성. 정보나 의사결정 과정을 숨김없이 대중에게 낱낱이 공개하는 것을 말합니다. 유가족들은 조사가 어떻게 진행되고 있는지 투명하게 알려달라고 요구하는 것입니다.
8. AlJazeera.com 8-1. Argentina staged stunning late comeback to beat Egypt in World Cup last 16. Defending champions Argentina survived a massive scare by staging a stunning 3-2 comeback victory against Egypt in the round of 16 at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Egypt initially shocked the stadium by taking an early lead, and their heroic goalkeeper further stunned the crowd by successfully saving a penalty kick from Lionel Messi. However, Argentina relentlessly applied pressure and managed to score 2 dramatic goals in the dying minutes of the match, including a stoppage-time header by Enzo Fernandez. Despite a controversial VAR decision and a heartbreaking exit, the Egyptian team was widely praised across the Arab world for their honorable performance against a football giant. Vocabulary. Defending. Adjective. 방어하는, 타이틀을 방어 중인. The defending champion is confident about winning again. Massive. Adjective. 거대한, 엄청난. The explosion caused massive damage to the building. Comeback. Noun. 역전. 복귀. The team made a spectacular comeback in the second half. Stun. Verb. 기절시키다, 큰 충격을 주다. The underdog's victory stunned the entire sports world. Relentlessly. Adverb. 끈질기게, 가차없이. The detective pursued the suspect relentlessly. Stoppage time. Noun. 스포츠. 추가 시간. He scored the winning goal deep in stoppage time. Controversial. Adjective. 논란이 많은. The referee's controversial decision changed the game. Honorable. Adjective. 명예로운, 훌륭한. She was given an honorable discharge from the military. 시사용어 해설. Defending champion. 직전 대회. 2022년 카타르 월드컵에서 우승을 차지하여 이번 대회에서도 그 우승 타이틀을 방어하기 위해 출전한 팀을 의미합니다. VAR. 비디오 어시스턴트 레퍼리. 축구 경기 중 주심의 판정을 돕기 위해 비디오 영상을 통해 반칙이나 득점 상황을 정밀하게 다시 판독하는 시스템입니다.
8-2. Trump lashes out at NATO as first day of summit wraps in Turkey. As the first day of the highly anticipated NATO summit concluded in Ankara, U.S. President Donald Trump publicly lashed out at the Mutual Defense Alliance. During a fiery address, Trump declared that he is very disappointed with NATO, heavily exposing underlying tensions regarding European defense spending and commitment levels. Specifically, he criticized European allies for their perceived failure to robustly support the U.S. during escalating conflicts with Iran in the Middle East. His blunt rhetoric reinforces his transactional approach to foreign policy, challenging the traditional unconditional solidarity of the 32-member pact. Diplomats worry that such public grievances might embolden adversaries like Russia. Vocabulary.
Lash out, phrasal verb. 맹비난하다, 후려갈기다. The politician lashed out at the press for the negative coverage. Mutual, adjective. 상호간에, 공통의. We must reach an agreement based on mutual respect. Fiery, adjective. 불같은, 맹렬한. The coach gave a fiery speech to motivate the players. Underlying, adjective. 기저에 있는, 근본적인. Stress is often the underlying cause of many illnesses. Blunt, adjective. 직설적인, 퉁명스러운.
To be blunt, your performance has been very poor lately. Rhetoric, noun. 수사학, 미사여구, 주로 부정적. People are tired of the empty political rhetoric. Transactional, adjective. 거래적인, 조건부에. Their relationship is purely transactional, based on money. Embolden, verb. 대담하게 만들다, 용기를 주다. His success emboldened him to take even bigger risks. 시사 용어 해설, transactional approach, 거래적 접근. 동맹이나 친구라서 무조건 도와주는 것이 아니라 내가 이만큼 해주면 너는 얼마를 줄래? 라는 식으로 손익계산을 철저히 따져 외교관계를 맺는 방식을 뜻합니다. 8-3. Djokovic wins 5-hour epic to earn Sinner showdown at Wimbledon semifinal showdown. Novak Djokovic demonstrated legendary resilience by defeating Felix Auger-Aliassime in a grueling 5-set thriller that lasted over 5 hours. This epic victory safely books his spot in a mouth-watering Wimbledon semifinal showdown against the defending champion Jannik Sinner. At 39 years old, Djokovic overcame intense physical fatigue to secure his 55th Grand Slam semifinal appearance. He is relentlessly bidding to win a record 25th Grand Slam title and equal Roger Federer's iconic record of 8 Wimbledon crowns. The highly anticipated match against Sinner presents a chance for redemption, as Djokovic lost to the Italian rising star in last year's tournament. Vocabulary. Resilience. Noun. 회복력, 끈기. Children often show great resilience after a trauma. Grueling. Adjective. 녹초로 만드는, 몹시 힘든. The runners collapsed after the grueling marathon. Epic. Adjective. 서사시적인, 엄청난, 명승부. The final battle in the movie was truly epic. Mouth-watering. Adjective. 군침이 도는, 몹시 흥미로운. They are promising a mouth-watering clash between the two stars. Showdown. Noun. 마지막 결전, 승부. Tomorrow is the final showdown between the top 2 teams. Fatigue. Noun. 피로. The driver fell asleep at the wheel due to extreme fatigue. Bid. Verb, noun. 도전하다, 입찰하다. She is making a strong bid for the presidency. Redemption. Noun. 구원, 만회, 설욕. After a terrible season, the team is looking for redemption. 시사 용어 해설. Grand Slam. 테니스에서 세계 4대 메이저 대회, 호주 오픈, 프랑스 오픈, 윈블던, US 오픈을 일컫는 말입니다. 조코비치는 이 대회들에서 통상 24번 우승하여 남녀 통틀어 역사상 최다 우승 기록을 쓰고 있습니다. 9. CBC Canada, 9-1. Carney chooses German submarines for Canadian Navy fleet. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney officially announced that German shipbuilder ThyssenKrupp Marine Systems, TKMS, is the preferred choice to construct the Navy's new fleet of up to 12 submarines. This multi-billion-dollar procurement, estimated to cost up to $100 billion over its lifetime, definitively marks the largest defense program in Canadian history. The decision highlights Canada's strong commitment to strengthening its strategic alliances within NATO. Carney acknowledged the incredibly tough competition with South Korea's Hanwha Ocean, but emphasized that the German-Norwegian bid perfectly aligned with Canada's long-term geopolitical interests. The new diesel-electric submarines are specifically optimized to patrol the harsh environments of the Arctic. Vocabulary. Officially. Adverb. 공식적으로. The company officially announced its new CEO today. Procurement. Noun. 조달. 구매. The government is reviewing its IT procurement policies. Definitively. Adverb. 확고하게. 최종적으로.
The DNA test definitively proved his innocence. Alliance, noun, 동맹, 연합. The two countries formed a military alliance during the war. Acknowledge, verb, 인정하다. He refused to acknowledge that he had made a mistake. Perfectly, adverb, 완벽하게. The dress fits her perfectly. Align, verb, 나란히하다, 일치시키다. Our business goals align perfectly with their vision. Patrol, verb, 순찰하다. Security guards patrol the building every 2 hours. 시사 용어 해설. Geopolitical interests, 지정학적 이익. 국가가 자리한 지리적 위치 때문에 발생하는 정치 안보적 이득을 뜻합니다. 캐나다는 러시아와 북극해를 마주하고 있어 얼음바다, 억택, 작전에 능하고 나토와 호환성이 좋은 독일 잠수함을 선택하는 것이 안보에 더 유리하다고 판단한 것입니다.
9-2. Hanwha Ocean pulls out of Mohawk College Ontario Shipyard Partnership. Following its failure to secure Canada's monumental submarine contract, South Korean defense giant Hanwha Ocean has abruptly withdrawn from a strategic partnership in Hamilton, Ontario. Previously, Hanwha had signed memorandums with Ontario shipyards and Mohawk College, promising extensive investments to train local shipbuilding talent if they won the bid. The withdrawal directly coincides with Prime Minister Mark Carney's announcement selecting Germany's TKMS for the fleet. The remaining Canadian partners expressed disappointment over losing Hanwha's significant support, but stated their workforce initiatives are not completely dead in the water. Vocabulary. Monumental. Adjective. 엄청난. 역사적 의미가 있는. Building the pyramid was a monumental task. Abruptly. Adverb. 갑자기. 돌연. The train stopped abruptly, throwing passengers forward. Withdraw. Verb. 철수하다. 약속을 취소하다. The sponsor decided to withdraw their financial support. Memorandum. Noun. 각서. 양해각서. MOU. The two companies signed a memorandum of understanding. Extensive. Adjective. 광범위한. 대규모의. The flood caused extensive damage to the crops. Coincide. Verb. 동시에 일어나다. 일치하다. My vacation coincides with the music festival. Initiative. Noun. 새로운 계획. Initiative. The city launched a new initiative to recycle plastic. Dead in the water. Idiom. 수포로 돌아간. 실패한. Without proper funding, the project is dead in the water. 시사 용어 해설. Memorandum. 양해각서. MOU. 정식으로 법적인 구속력이 있는 계약을 맺기 전에 우리 앞으로 이런 방향으로 협력하자라고 글로 남기는 약속입니다. 입찰 탈락으로 인해 사업 전제 조건이 사라지면서 이 약속도 백지화된 것입니다. 9-3. Canada to receive tens of billions in investments from German subdeal. The Canadian government's decision to procure submarines from Germany's TKMS will unlock tens of billions of dollars in investment for the domestic economy. According to Prime Minister Mark Carney, this lucrative deal extends far beyond shipbuilding, encompassing key industrial domains such as space technology, autonomous systems, and critical minerals. The German bid successfully promised massive economic boosts, including the construction of regional maintenance hubs and torpedo manufacturing centers on Canadian soil. Projections indicate the mega project could generate up to 50,000 jobs over the next 5 years, impacting nearly every province across the country. Vocabulary. Unlock. Verb. 열다. 잠재력을 드러내다. Education is the key to unlocking a child's potential. Lucrative. Adjective. 수익성이 좋은, 돈이 되는. He left teaching for a lucrative career in banking. Encompass. Verb. 포함하다. 아우르다. The festival encompasses music, art, and dance. Domain. Noun. 영역. 분야. She is a highly respected expert in the domain of physics. Autonomous. Adjective. 자율적인, 무인은. Autonomous vehicles will change the future of transportation. Boost. Noun/verb. 부황하다, 증대. The tax cut gave a significant boost to the local economy. Maintenance. Noun. 유지보수, 정비. The aircraft undergoes routine maintenance every month. Projection. Noun. 예측, 전망. The company's sales projections for next year are very high. 시사 용어 해설. Offsets. Industrial investment. 절충구역, 산업투자. 외국에서 비싼 무기를 사올 때
돈만 주는 것이 아니라 반대급부로 우리나라에 공장을 지어달라, 우리 부품을 사달라 등의 조건을 거는 무역 방식을 뜻합니다. 캐나다는 독일을 선택한 대가로 막대한 일자리와 기술 투자를 약속받았습니다.
Number 10. DD India. Number 10. 1. India-Indonesia signed BrahMos, Astra deals to boost defense cooperation. India and Indonesia have significantly deepened their strategic partnership by signing key defense agreements, which notably include cooperation on the BrahMos supersonic cruise missile system and Astra air-to-air missiles. During Prime Minister Narendra Modi's diplomatic visit to Jakarta, the two nations also formally agreed to expand collaboration in critical minerals, agriculture, and cybersecurity. The leaders issued a joint statement reaffirming their mutual commitment to maintaining a free, open, and rules-based Indo-Pacific region. Furthermore, they underscored the vital need for coordinated international efforts to firmly combat global terrorism. Both countries aim to enhance maritime domain awareness to protect their shared economic interests. Vocabulary. Significantly. Adverb. 상당히, 크게. The company's profits have increased significantly this year. Supersonic. Adjective. 초음속에. The jet can fly at supersonic speeds. Notably. Adverb. 특히, 현저히. The region is notably rich in natural resources. Collaboration. Noun. 협력, 공동작업. The project was a successful collaboration between two teams. Reaffirm. Verb. 재확인하다. The president reaffirmed his commitment to lower taxes. Mutual. Adjective. 상호간에, 서로의. The agreement is based on mutual respect and trust. Underscore. Verb. 밑줄을 긋다, 강조하다. The recent accident underscores the need for better safety. Combat. Verb. 맞서 싸우다, 방지하다. The government is taking new measures to combat inflation. 시사용어 해설. Supersonic cruise missile. 초음속 순항 미사일. 소리의 속도, 음속보다 빠르게 날아가며 제트 엔진을 달아 비행기처럼 낮고 일정하게 비행하여 목표물을 정밀 타격하는 미사일입니다. 인도산 브라모스는 세계에서 가장 빠른 순항 미사일 중 하나로 꼽힙니다. 인도-패시픽 리전. 인도-태평양 지역. 인도양과 태평양을 아우르는 지정학적 공간을 뜻하며 최근 중국의 해양 진출을 전제하기 위해 인도, 미국 등이 이곳의 자유로운 항행과 규칙 기반 질서를 매우 강조하고 있습니다. 10.2. Indian diaspora in Australia hopes for stronger ties ahead of PM's visit. Ahead of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's highly anticipated visit, members of the Indian diaspora in Australia are expressing immense hope for stronger bilateral ties. Community leaders and business owners firmly believe the diplomatic trip will expand trade opportunities and deepen rich cultural connections between the two nations. Local experts highlight that India and Australia possess complementary economic strengths. For example, India offers massive manufacturing capabilities, while Australia contributes advanced design and intellectual property. Indian origin professionals, including doctors and artists, view Modi's third official visit to Australia as a profound honor that elevates their community's reputation. Vocabulary. Diaspora. Noun. diaspora. 해외로 이주해 사는 사람들. The global diaspora retains strong ties to their homeland. Bilateral. Adjective. 양자 간의, 양국의. The two nations signed a bilateral trade agreement. Complementary. Adjective. 상호 보완적인. The couple has complementary skills that make them a great team. Massive. Adjective. 거대한, 엄청난 규모의. The construction project required massive investment. Capability. Noun. 능력, 역량. The factory has the capability to produce 1,000 cars a day. Intellectual property. Noun. 지적 재산권. Software companies heavily protect their intellectual property. Profound. Adjective. 깊은, 심오한. His words had a profound impact on my life. Elevate. Verb. 높이다, 승격시키다. Reading classic literature can elevate your mind. 시사용어 해설. Diaspora. 디아스포라. 본래 유대인들이 팔레스타인을 떠나 세계 곳곳에 흩어져 사는 것을 뜻했으나 현대인은 조국을 떠나 다른 나라에 정착해 살면서도 고유한 문화와 정체성을 유지하는 이주민 집단 전체를 부르는 말로 널리 쓰입니다. 예,
호주 내 인도 교민.
10.3. India, Indonesia call for decisive action against global terrorism. India and Indonesia have strongly condemned terrorism in all its varied forms, utilizing their latest summit to call for decisive international action. During their joint statement, both nations urged the global community to launch coordinated efforts against globally prescribed terrorists in strict accordance with international law. Leaders explicitly highlighted the danger of cross-border extremism and agreed to significantly boost bilateral cooperation regarding intelligence sharing and advanced cybersecurity. This solid united front demonstrates their mutual resolve to completely eradicate radical threats that jeopardize regional stability and economic development across Asia. Vocabulary. Decisive. Adjective. 단호한, 결정적인. We must take decisive action to stop the pollution. Prescribed. Adjective. 금지된, 배척받는. The group was officially designated as a proscribed terrorist organization. Accordance. Noun. 일치, 합치. In accordance with, 에 따라서. The work was done in strict accordance with the rules. Extremism. Noun. 극단주의. The government is trying to combat online extremism. Bilateral. Adjective. 양자 간의, 쌍방의. The two countries held bilateral discussions on trade. United front. Noun. 공동전선. The workers presented a united front to the management. Eradicate. Verb. 근절하다, 뿌리 뽑다. Scientists are working hard to eradicate the disease entirely. Jeopardize. Verb. 위태롭게 하다. Failing this exam could jeopardize your chances of graduating. 주석 시사용어 해설. Prescribed terrorist. 지정된 수배된 테러리스트. 유엔이나 개별 국가의 법률에 의해 공식적으로 테러리스트로 규정되어 자금줄이 묶이고 체포영장이 발부된 인물을 말합니다. Cross-border extremism. 국경을 초월한 극단주의. 특정 종교나 정치적 신념을 위해 폭력을 정당화하는 세력이 한 나라에 머물지 않고 인터넷이나 미립국을 통해 여러 나라로 퍼져나가 테러를 모의하는 현상입니다.